I think we covered S3 versioning feature in the last session, right? In this session, let us talk about another feature available on S3, which is going to be static website hosting. In this session, let us talk about a static website hosting. And if time permits, we will go with something called S3 transfer acceleration also. Okay, static website hosting is the concept which we are going to discuss in the today's session. Okay, generally, what is the meaning of a website hosting? What exactly the website hosting is? Let me share my screen first. Okay, so what is the meaning of website hosting? So whenever you are maintaining the website for public access, which is nothing but the hosting, website hosting. If you are maintaining the website on a web server, and if the public are able to access the website, that process we call it as a website hosting. In the websites, we have two different categories available: static website and a dynamic website. Whatever the websites are designed with server side coding or server side scripting, that is what the dynamic website, the PHP, right? Or JavaScript, or I think JSON, JavaScript. These are the dynamic websites. By any chance, if you have a requirement to host a static website, which is designed in using HTML, CSS, or without a server-side scripting, then you can use this S3 static website hosting feature. Why? Because the storage space on S3 bucket is the cheapest, right? If you want to host the static website on a real web server, then what you have to do is first you need to get a server on AWS. It is going to be an EC2 instance, right? It is going to be the EC2 instance in which you will get the CPU, RAM. Also, you will get the storage, right? Then on top of that, you need to install the operating system. Then on top of that, you need to install the web server software to run the website. And then you need to upload your website code, right? So here, there are a lot of maintenance activities. You are responsible to manage the operating system. You need to install the web server software. You need to manage it. You need to configure. And for this, you need to pay per hour, right? Whenever you are running an EC2 instance, you have to pay on a hourly basis. And to avoid these kind of unnecessary charges, what you can do is you can opt in for S3 static website hosting. You can opt in for S3 static website hosting feature. It is only suitable for hosting a static website. You can't host a dynamic website. If you want to host a dynamic website, obviously you have to go for the traditional way of hosting the website. So what we do is on this S3 bucket, we will create one S3 bucket, and then we will upload the website code, upload the web pages, I can say. Who will provide these web pages? Who will provide? The web designer, right? Who will give these files means the web designer, right? Being a solution architect, we don't design the codes and all. We will upload it. And whenever a user is trying to access a website, the web pages to be available as a publicly readable. So what we do is, while uploading, we will upload all the objects as a public object. The web pages must be public objects. Then only without a username and password, they at least they can access the homepage. Or else, every user you need to create the AWS account, you need to provide authentication, authorization. But if you want to access google.com, no need to provide authentication, right? If you want to access yahoo.com or some websites, news websites or YouTube, there is no mandatory to provide authentication and authorization, right? Why? They host at least the homepage of the public page. Then once we upload the public our web pages, what we do is we will enable static web hosting, right? And the website might have multiple pages like home page, contact us page, services page, products page. There are n number of web pages available, right? So here, whenever a user is trying to access your website, which page to be displayed to the users? Which page must be displayed to the users? That we have to configure. That is called as root document. Root document, or few people call it as index document. Both are same. Means whenever the user trying to access the website, the request will be received by the S3 bucket, and then the static website hosting feature will start delivering the website. But that website is having multiple pages. Which page you would like to display to the user, that we need to configure under root or index document. We call it as a root document or index document. Okay, right. Then whenever a user is trying to access, they can access the website. So here, there is no additional charges for enabling the static website web hosting feature. Only you have to pay for the storage space, which we are utilizing to store your web pages. In short, what exactly we are going to do is, first, we will create an S3 bucket. First, we will create an S3 bucket. Let me say this is going to be in not in Mumbai. I have some reason for that. I would like to create in Northern Virginia region, or you can create in any region. Then what we have to do is upload website pages, and this has to be public. From where we need to get these web pages? Download from the internet. Download from the internet, because I don't have any web designers to design a simple HTML web page or something. Download HTML website from the internet. There are a number of templates available. You can download something. Okay. Once everything is done, so once you upload as a public, then what we have to do is we need to enable static website hosting feature. And that's it. It will generate the website URL, static website URL, and that we have to share with all your employees or all your users. And that website is accessible. That is what we are going to do. And here, this is the important thing, right? The website or web pages must be uploaded as a public. For that reason, this bucket, while creating, you must enable ACL, and then we must disable block all public access feature, right? Because if it is enabled, you can't make any object as a public. And to make any object as a public, ACLs are the mandatory feature as of now for us. So that's why we have to do all these things. Okay. So let us write down few points about this, and then we can see like how to do, how to create, or how to host and all the things. So S3 allows, or S3 offers static website hosting at no extra charges, and we can use this feature to host static websites only. Static websites only. And this feature cannot be used, or I can say doesn't support dynamic website hosting. Dynamic website hosting. What is the dynamic websites? The websites which are designed or developed using server-side scripting. Example, PHP. You can't host a PHP website. So what are the examples for the static website? HTML with CSS is the best example for static website. HTML websites. It can be what we call a responsive or a non-responsive, that doesn't matter. Both are going to be the static website. Okay, now what we do is host a static website using S3 bucket. Okay, so first what we do, download a static website template from the internet, because I don't know how to design or how to write a HTML or something. Then create a S3 bucket and let me name it as static web host. Any name you can use. You can use any name, that doesn't matter. 10 October 2025. This is the name which I'm going to use. And while creating, enable ACL. This is a mandatory thing, and disable block all public access option. You must do these two. Then upload the downloaded website pages as public into S3 bucket. Then enable static website hosting and note down the website URL. Then we will verify the website is accessible or not. Okay, so first, from where we can download the static website? From where we can download the website? There are a number of things available. Let me go to Google. In the Google, let me say HTML, CSS, website templates free. So I can say, yeah, you can use this one, W3 schools templates. Anything you can. I don't want to pay any some money or something, just so you can use it, whatever you can get from the internet, or something called theme forest or something is there. I don't remember the name. From there also you can download. Okay, let us download any one web page. Okay, let me download this free one. Okay, so it seems it is a free. So here, let me, where is the download option? Okay, let me click here. Here is the download button, right? Let me click on the download. It seems it has multiple pages also. It seems download successful. So here I can see it is getting downloaded. It seems it is a 8.1 MB, which is a zip file. It's a zip. Okay, it's downloaded. Let me get into the page. So here is the one. Let me paste that onto my desktop. Okay, there's zip file, right? So now what I do is, generally whenever I download something from the internet, first thing what I do is I will go to properties and I will uncheck this. I will check the unblock. For safety reasons, by default, it should be in the blocked mode. The problem is sometimes it might not properly unzip. That's why I will unblock it. Then let me unzip it. How? Right click and extract all. Extract. Okay, so now I want to upload these things. So okay, let me close it. So this is the extracted folder, right? Double click, open it. Let me open it. So this is the one. and you are not supposed to change the structure of this directory. You have to upload all these folders and files in the same way. And here you can see about page is there, blog page, contact page, gallery page, index page. So generally, index page to be displayed as a home page for the users means this index.html, right? If I right click and go to properties, I can see the extension .html, right? So it is index.html. So this is going to be my root document. Okay. So first, what is the first step? We downloaded it. Now we need to create a static website. Any region, that doesn't matter. We can create in any region. If I create in the Hyderabad, so for testing purpose, I mean, the small website, right? There will be no latency. If I create in Northern Virginia, there might be some latency, like fraction of seconds. Okay, so how to create the S3 bucket? Click on S3. And here we have multiple S3 buckets. And let me click on general purpose bucket. Let me click on create bucket, general purpose. And this is my bucket name. ACLs must be enabled. And this must be unchecked, block all public access. Then you must acknowledge that whatever the options you have configured, like disabling block all public access, it might make your objects public as per the requirement, which means acknowledging means you are aware of that option. You are confirming that you are aware of that. Then click on create bucket. Now I can't upload each and every file individually, right? So how can we upload all the files and folders at a time without changing the folder structure is, see here. So where is our bucket? This is the bucket, right? Click on the bucket, get into the bucket, click on upload up to here. Same process. Generally what we do, we will click on add files and then you can add the files, right? But you can do something like drag and drop the files and folders you want to upload here. How? Just open that folder. Okay, let me make it small. Okay, so I will select all the files and folders, whatever I want to copy, and I will click and drag and drop here. See here, almost 77 objects, 11.6 MB. Okay, once we upload any object, the object will be uploaded as a private object. Later, I can't manually make every object public. 77 times I have to make each object public, right? Instead of that, while uploading the objects itself, we can make them as a public. How to? Before clicking on upload, so here there is one option called permissions, right? You can see the permissions. Click on the permissions, and here under predefined ACLs, select this one, grant public read access, and select this checkbox that I understand the risk of granting public read access to the specified objects. All the objects will be uploaded as a public objects, and anyone across the globe can view your objects. They can't modify or they can't delete, just public read access. Then click on upload. Status is pending. It's almost like 11.6 MB in size, but the total files are 77. Each file to be uploaded one after one. It won't take much time. Just wait for this. And once it got uploaded, then we have to enable static website hosting. While we are enabling the static website hosting, you need to configure the root document. The root document means whenever the user is trying to access the website, which web page to be displayed for the user. That is what the root document or index document. Both are same. Okay, just wait for like a minute to complete the upload process. Okay, just 27 files left, 25 files left. You can see how many files left and how much size is left. Okay, done, right? Okay, now what we have to do, we need to enable the website hosting. And I want to make this index.html as a default page for my website. So everybody should see this index.html. Okay, so let me copy this. You have to be very careful, even if you use a case sensitive. So here all are like small letters, right? If you use the uppercase while you're configuring the root document, you will get access denied error. Okay, now how to enable that static website hosting is click on the bucket and then click on the properties tab, just scroll down to the bottom. And the last option is you can see static website hosting, right? Okay, here there's a new feature, AWS Amplify, which we will see in the coming sessions. Okay, there's a the different service. Means in the future, Amazon might replace the static website hosting feature with this create amplify app. Sorry, using the AWS Amplify app. Okay, now click on edit, enable. So hosting type is going to be host a static website. What is your index document or a root document? Index.html. Error document is optional. What is this error document is? If the index.html is not accessible, it was deleted or something, then instead of throwing some random error like access denied or page not found, it will display web page under maintenance. So for that, you need to design error.html page. So whenever the index document is not available, then the error document will be served to the users, which is optional. Then scroll down, click on save changes. What we configured, we enabled the static website hosting, and we mentioned that what object to be displayed, which web page out of 5 or 6 pages to be displayed. And you can see bucket website endpoint. Let me copy it. This is the static website URL. This is my website URL. At this point of time, you might get a question. Okay, if I'm working for a company, let us say my company name is ABC Private Limited or something, then what I prefer my website to be loaded using abc.com, which is not available directly on static website hosting feature. Then how can we overcome this is, so we have a service called Route 53, which is a kind of a DNS service in which we will create a record called abc.com. If you want to allow the users to access your website, then we will create a record like this. And we call this as alias record. We call this as alias record. So whenever the user types abc.com, automatically the request will be forwarded to this clumsy website URL. Nobody can remember this one, right? Nobody can remember this name. But for testing purpose, we can use directly like this, or the real time we create alias record using Route 53 so that the website can be accessible like abc.com. Example, abc.com. Like this. So whenever a user types abc.com, the request will be automatically forwarded to the static website URL, which kind of nobody can remember this one, right? This part we will cover in the Route 53 topic, like how to create alias record. First of all, what are the different records available, like A name, C name, alias. Then what we have, 4A's record. What is the difference between A and 4A's? Both are host records only, but what are the differences that we can cover in the Route 53? Okay, now it's time to verify the website is accessible or not. Let me open a browser. If I get any error, which means we did some mistake while we are enabling that particular, what we call that, the web static website hosting feature. See here, gallery, blog, contact us. But this website we don't design. This will be designed by your website developers and all. Let me share the URL in the chat box so that you guys can test or verify from your end also. And if you observe, see here, like let me refresh the page. Even whenever you're trying to load the website, you can observe that the image will take a few, like at least 1 or 2 seconds to load it, right? Can you guess the reason? Because you might be using the fastest broadband, like 50 Mbps or 100 Mbps of internet speed and all, but still the image will take at least 1 to 2 seconds of time to load. Can you guess why? And even I'm not sure whether I can maximize. Okay. Okay, can you guys confirm that you are able to access the website using the website URL which I shared in the chat box? Okay, the reason behind why the image took some time to load is latency. Latency means the time takes to send a request and to receive a response. The reason is whatever the website or whatever the S3 bucket we created, that is the place from where the web page to be loaded. But where we created in the Northern Virginia, which is in US, I'm accessing from India. So there is a lot of distance, right? So for that reason, definitely there should be a latency. Then you might ask a question. So in the real time, that should be a problem. Yes, obviously there's a problem and for that, there is a solution. There is a solution for that. On AWS, we have a service called CloudFront. Again, there is a separate concept. What it will does is it will cache the data in the nearby edge locations. And whenever I try to access that particular image or something, that image will be loaded from the nearby edge location and we can reduce the latency and the image can be loaded faster. Okay, that is a separate concept. Mostly once we're done with the S3, we will talk about that cloud front and all. Okay, right. So this is about the static website hosting. And are you guys clear or any questions? If you have any questions with the static website hosting, just you can ask me now. And even I will provide the website URL from where I download. Okay, it seems I closed it. Okay, you can download from anywhere. Just Google for HTML free templates. That's it. Or a static website free templates. And you can download and you can use it while you are testing. Okay. Right. Any questions? Any questions on this static website hosting? If you guys are clear, then we can go with some other small feature available on the S3. Okay, anything should we learn about ACL? So if you see, let me show you. Let me take the same website. I think you are talking about NACL. There's a different. NACL is different. ACL is different. So on the S3 bucket, I use a term called ACL. Is there anything that we have to focus on the ACL or something? No, because this ACL is a predefined settings. Let me show you. So if I go to permissions, if I scroll down, so here is the ACL feature, right? Here is the ACL feature. There is nothing that you have to do. Let me click on edit. See here, list, right? So if you want to allow everyone to read public access, you can enable this one so that by default your bucket will become public bucket, or you can enable list. List, what is the difference between the list and read? List means they can view the name of the objects. Read in the sense they can open and they can view it. Or let us say, if you want to allow a different AWS account to access your S3 bucket, click here, add grantee. So grantee name, canonical ID, like their AWS account ID, enter that. Select what all permissions you want to give, and just click on add, save changes. That's it. There is um, nothing else that you can configure manually. Just list, read, write. That's it. List, read, write. Only these are the three options which you have to choose as per your requirement. If you want to manage the permissions like user level and all, for that, we will use this concept called bucket policy. Mostly that we will discuss in the tomorrow's session, because that requires one complete session to cover. Even in the real time, we don't use ACLs much. We use the bucket policy. Let us say if you want to allow a team to access one S3 bucket, or if you want to allow a specific user, the authorized user, with a list read permissions, everything can be managed using the bucket policy. And this bucket policy is the important thing which you must learn. Endpoint is kind of the what we call that, the address, the location. Endpoint is nothing but where the request is received by. The request is delivered to that particular location, to that particular address. Endpoint. Amazon is using the term called endpoint. That's okay. Right. So, right. Any other questions? Anybody else having any questions? Okay. So then let us talk about S3 transfer acceleration. That's a feature which we don't use in the real time, but sometimes in the what we call that, in the certification point of view, you should know about this feature. You must know what exactly this S3 transfer acceleration and all for from a certification perspective. Okay, right. Based on the name, can you guess what might be that feature is? Based on the name, can you guess what might be the use of that particular S3 transfer acceleration feature? So you might say this feature will allow you to speed up the data transfer, right? Speed up the data transfer, which means, let us say this is your S3 bucket. Let us assume this is in Northern Virginia region. Okay. And here there is a user who is in USA. And there is another user, he is in India. Okay. Now this user is uploading a 1 GB file, and it took 1 minute to upload. And this India user is also using the same kind of internet speed and the same laptop, and he is uploading the same 1 GB file. And can you guess how much time it will take? Definitely not 1 minute. It might take what we call that 3 minutes of time or so. Why? Because of latency. Because of the latency. So this S3 transfer acceleration, this S3 transfer acceleration allow us to transfer the data with high data transfer speeds. So now at this point, you might have a question. There is no change in the distance between the S3 bucket and the user, and there is no improvement in the internet speed of the user. Then data transfer, how the data transfer will be speed up, right? That's where the edge locations came into the picture. If you recollect, in the AWS global infrastructure, we discussed about a region, right? Availability zone, and then edge location, right? So across the globe, in the major cities, Amazon is maintaining the edge locations. Amazon is maintaining some edge locations like this. India, like Bangalore, Delhi, Hyderabad, they do maintain some edge locations. So whenever you enable this transfer acceleration, S3 transfer acceleration, what exactly is going to happen is whenever the user is trying to upload the data, that data can't be uploaded directly to the S3 bucket. So it will be uploaded to the nearest edge location first. And the edge location is very close. So it might take 1 minute because it is very close to this user, right? And then the same data will be uploaded to the S3 bucket using high-speed Amazon's network. Edge locations and the region's availability zones are connected with high-speed, low latency networks, Amazon's own or a private networks, low latency networks. So with the help of this, the same data can be uploaded within 1 minute. So instead of a 3 minutes of time, the data can be uploaded within 1.5 minutes. The same way, whenever you're trying to download, what happens? A request will go to the edge location, which might take few seconds or a fraction of seconds. The data will be downloaded to here, and no need to wait until the data to be completely download. Parallelly, the same data will be downloaded to your bucket. So even here, for example, I said 1.5 minutes. It won't take 1.5 minutes. Whenever the first byte of data got uploaded to the edge location, immediately the data will start uploading to the S3 bucket. It might be 1 minute, let us say 10 seconds or 5 seconds. 1 minute, 5 seconds, 1 minute, 10 seconds of that means almost close to the user who is nearest to the S3 bucket. That is what the S3 transfer acceleration. And coming to this S3 transfer acceleration, it is not a free service. It is not a free. I mean, you can enable it for free of cost, but on what basis Amazon will charge you is based on the amount of data, based on the amount of data what we transfer. Let us say if you upload 10 GB using S3 transfer acceleration, then you will be charged an extra cost for this 10 GB uploaded using high speed connectivity link. That is the only thing. I will show you how to enable. This point you must remember to face the certification exams and all. So here I can say S3 transfer acceleration enables, or I can say allows to transfer the data with a high speeds. That is the thing. But what is the use case, like why we should enable it or how it will improve is whenever we upload or I can say we transfer the data from, whenever we transfer the data from or to S3 buckets, which is far away from us, then due to the latency, transfer speeds will be compromised. So with the help of this transfer acceleration, we can improve the data transfer speeds. How? How is, if we enable S3 transfer acceleration, then the data will be transferred to the nearest edge location, and then will be uploaded to the S3 bucket using Amazon's high speed, low latency network. This is how the data transfer speeds will be improved. And there is no additional, there is no cost or no charges to enable the transfer acceleration feature. However, we will be charged for the amount of data transferred using the transfer acceleration feature. Don't get confused. Now I'm going to enable that feature and I will not be charged. But whatever the data I upload after enabling the transfer acceleration, for that amount of data, I will be charged. Okay, right. So now let us see how to enable it. Enable transfer acceleration on any S3 bucket. Then there is something called comparison URL. We will see, we will compare, also compare the speeds before and after transfer acceleration. Like before enabling also we can test it so that we can decide whether to enable or not. Because if the bucket is on Hyderabad, and if I am from Hyderabad, if all my users are from Hyderabad, what is the use of enabling it? Because already we are closer to the region, right? So that's why we can verify it. But let me show you how to enable it, and then we can see how to do that on all. So how to enable is, first you need to click on the S3 bucket, then go to the same properties tab. And if you scroll down, you can see something called transfer acceleration. It will use an accelerated endpoint for faster data transfers. Okay, right. How to enable it? Click on edit, enable, and then click on save changes. I will show you on what basis Amazon will charge you and all. Just I clicked on save changes and done. Successfully edited transfer acceleration, and you can check it is enabled. Right. Now I want to show you the pricing. And here, let me show you that also. Multi-region. Okay, let me search easily. Transfer acceleration. Okay. There's S3 pricing. Let me show you the pricing for S3 transfer acceleration also. And once you enable the transfer acceleration, it will take 20 minutes. So even immediately if you start uploading, you can't identify what we call that the difference in the speed. Okay. and it is not available in all the regions. Out of the 30 change regions, in these regions only the transfer acceleration is available. And you can observe what we call that Hyderabad is not available, right? You can't enable transfer acceleration in Hyderabad region. I will share this link also for your reference. And there is something called a comparison tool. Let me show you that. See here, this is the one. Let me click it. And this is the URL. Copy the following URL into your browser, replacing the proper region and the bucket name with the name of the bucket you want to evaluate. So I will show you. So here, this is the URL which I copied. So here, what all we have to change is region and bucket name. So here, this is the one region. In which region our bucket is US East 1. And what is our bucket name that we have to change here? Let me copy paste the bucket name. This is the bucket name. And then what we have to do, just you need to copy and use a browser. That's it. So what it will do to that particular S3 bucket, Amazon will evaluate the speed comparison from every region before enabling the transfer acceleration and after enabling the transfer acceleration. You can see this is for Northern Virginia region, direct upload speed. This is what the direct upload speed is. Once it is completed, then it will upload the data using accelerated endpoint. Like after enabling the it will simulate it. It will use accelerated endpoint and it will verify how much time to take to upload the same data. And then it will show you whether it is an improvement or no improvement. In the percentage basis, you can see here, direct upload speed, you can upload like this, and with the accelerated, you can see like 20% faster or 20% slower. You can see some evaluation here. See here, 60% faster by using this transfer acceleration feature to this particular bucket, from Northern Virginia, the data can be transferred 60% faster. In the same way, we'll check from all other regions: San Francisco, Oregon, Dublin, Frankfurt, Tokyo, Seoul, Singapore. It will take some time and it will display the results. If you can wait for some time, you can see here. Or, or I can do one thing. I will give this URL in the chat box. You guys can click that in your browser. And even after completing the session, you can wait for 5-10 minutes without closing your laptop. And just you can check the differences from all the regions to my S3 bucket, like whether it is a faster or a slower and all. You can see for San Francisco, it seems, see here, there is no advantage of using transfer acceleration from San Francisco. Like if some user is trying to upload from San Francisco, then we will ask him, don't use transfer acceleration. There is no advantage for the users from San Francisco. Okay, this is a comparison tool, but in the real time, we will never use this feature. We'll never use this feature in the real time, because for all these loading, generally to download, right? For that, we use the CloudFront, which we will cover once we are done with the S3. Still, we have few topics like replication rules, lifecycle rules. Once we cover those things, then we can move on with other things. Okay. Then we will see the CloudFront also. Right. So any questions? Any questions on the transfer acceleration? Okay, so I'm not getting any questions, so I can consider that you guys are clear and you don't have any questions. So then what we do is let us stop the session here, and In the tomorrow session, we will talk about replication rules and life cycle rules. We will cover both features in the tomorrow session. Okay. Um, okay, then. Thank you, everyone. We'll continue tomorrow. If you have any questions, you can wait, or else you can leave.